Today, walking through the Valley of the Kings means navigating a scorching, desolate canyon of dust and rock. It feels completely dead. And because of staggering discoveries like this, it's easy to assume these tombs were basically maximum security vaults, carved out to stockpile of pharaohs' mummies and gold. But the ancient Egyptians did not see death as a peaceful, static rest. To them, dying meant stepping into an active, incredibly dangerous transition period. According to a sacred text called the Amduat, or the Book of the Hidden Chamber, the pharaoh's soul had to travel through 12 perilous hours of darkness, fighting alongside the sun god. The stakes of this journey were absolute. If the pharaoh failed to navigate the underworld, the sun would not rise the next morning. The universe would collapse back into chaos. They couldn't leave a cosmic event that critical up to chance. So they used precise geography and architecture to physically engineer a mechanism that would guarantee their success. The Egyptians engineered the Valley of the Kings as an active, meticulously calibrated, one-to-one scale machine for manufacturing eternal life. For centuries, pharaohs built massive artificial pyramids. So why suddenly abandon those towering monuments for a remote, hostile wadi hidden deep in the desert? A towering peak known as El Kern looms directly above the royal wadi. This diagram shows how the mountain's natural shape perfectly mimics a pyramid. By placing their tombs directly beneath it, the pharaohs secured a massive natural superstructure without having to build one from scratch. Even the surrounding cliffs served a purpose. The topography of the valley actually forms the shape of the Akhet, the ancient hieroglyph for the horizon, representing the exact spot where the sun sinks down into the netherworld. On top of that, this peak was the domain of Merit Seger, a local goddess believed to fiercely protect the dead from intruders. The Egyptians chose this site because the landscape itself was already a spiritually active portal. The geography operated as the first functional gear of the machine. Moving from the surface down into the bedrock, the architecture of the tombs takes over. These interior blueprints were literal physical maps of the Amduat. This floor plan diagram illustrates the design of early 18th dynasty tombs. Notice how the corridors don't run in a straight line. They feature severe, bent axes. These sharp turns force the pharaoh's soul to mimic the twisting, disorienting subterranean paths of the netherworld. Further down, the path is interrupted by a deep drop-off called the Hall of Waiting, or the Hall of Hindrance. Practically, this well shaft was designed to catch flash floodwaters and block grave robbers. But mythologically, it represented the terrifying pitch-black cavern of the falcon god Sokar. It was a physical obstacle the soul had to conquer. Carving this divine blueprint required a massive human effort. The mortal workforce that built these tombs lived nearby, in a segregated settlement called the village of Deir el-Medina. This elevation diagram illustrates the problem they faced. The divine architecture had to be forced into an unpredictable geological reality, requiring workers to tunnel through bands of hard limestone and fragile, expansion-prone shale. The laborers endured grueling conditions. They battled dangerous rock faults, sudden floods, and corrupt administrators who withheld their grain rations, pressures that eventually drove the workers to organize history's first recorded labor strikes. Generating this eternal engine for the gods relied entirely on the dangerous, deeply imperfect physical labor of the living. At the very bottom of this physical and spiritual descent lies the burial chamber, intimately known as the House of Gold. This room is engineered for the ultimate theological event of the Amduat, the union of opposites. Here, in total darkness, the dead pharaoh fuses with the sun god. This divine fusion sparks the rebirth of light. It triggers the dawn, renews the cycle of life, and saves the cosmos from total collapse. Every corridor and inscription here reflects a radical, desperate obsession with life and its continuity. The Valley of the Kings stands as humanity's most audacious monument. They mapped and carved a physical path through the darkest, most terrifying unknown imaginable, simply to guarantee that the sun would rise again.